What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boys over here at Three Man Weave. I'm your lovely co ZD in the building with the lovely co CJ. We coming at you guys live again. It's a Wednesday. It's February 4th. We got an episode coming out tomorrow at 8. I think
Mm-hmm.
Cam texted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So got a lot of stuff to chop it up about today. It's NBA trade deadline, man. It's coming up. I think it ends tomorrow. We'll just get right into that. I feel like
Yeah, that's
you guys
the
are gonna click on this
yeah,
and then just we'll just go right into it. So
for sure.
CJ, break it down for the people. How are you doing first of all, and then just go right into it, bro.
Doing good, bro. Just we were chopping it up as we usually do before we record, just kind of talking about first reactions to the trades, what we think, this and that. So I'm excited. This is a good podcast. Shay's out. We'll talk about that eventually. He's gonna be injured for a little while, and we got Jared McCain, and we'll talk about that a little after. Once we get to that point. But I'm doing well, bro. Doing good. Been working, trying to get these exit interviews for the OPM Fantasy League. So kind of been locked in with that, and then obviously trying to get these podcasts out at a timely manner. So been busy, but I can't complain, bro. I mean, I feel like that's something. You get to, when you first start making content, trying to do this stuff, you're trying to, stay busy, trying to do as much as you can. And now it's kind of, just a part of, your everyday routine to kind of always have something to do. So I like it. I like having that fire underneath me. I think, I need it sometimes, and, to start the year and kind of get into this time of year. It's good for me. So I'm excited, bro. Ready to chop it up with you and, see what you think about some of these trades, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of them are questionable, for people like you guys know, you clicked on the video, you know what we're gonna chop it up about. You probably saw you guys got ESPN. Um, I think, if there's anywhere you'd like to start, we can go from like the bottom up if you wanted to start on like the lower ones, the ones that were less popular, because I feel like a lot of people are gonna chop it up about that. Like you guys have probably seen those.
Yeah.
We'll obviously talk about that as well. But if there was one that, you wanted to hear my opinion on, I got you.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. So I'll just kind of, I mean, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been keeping up with like the trade deadline these past couple of days, it's really just been Tuesday and then today. And then obviously it's probably going to be a lot of action tomorrow as well. So within these past 2 days, it's been a lot. So I think I'll just kind of go through it. And then if you want to, talk about a specific trade, just kind of
I
as
got
the
you.
day was going on yesterday, I'll go through them as they came in. But if you want to talk about it, stop me and then we could chop it up about it. But the first one from February 3rd, that was yesterday, Tuesday. Utah trades for Jaren Jackson Jr. The Memphis Grizzlies get Kyle Anderson, Walter Clayton Jr., Taylor Hendricks, Georges Niang, and 3 future first round picks. Utah Jazz get Jaren Jackson Jr., John Conchar, Jock Landale, and Vince Williams Jr. You want to talk about that one?
Um, yeah, I saw this. First initial thoughts. It's obviously a great fit. Jaren Jackson Jr., for people who don't know, $200 million player, one of the best defensive players in our league. Also started to come into his own as an offensive player, added the 3-point shot. Um, when I first saw this, I was a little bit shocked because for people who don't know, the new CBA has a rule where you have to meet the salary floor, which basically means you have to spend all your cash. If you have excess salary cap, you have to get back to zero. The Jazz decided to invest that now into Jaren Jackson Jr.'s contract, which is, I don't have the specific number in front of me, but I think it's a 4-year, $200 million deal.
Yeah, let me double
So
check it. But
around that
yeah,
range, if I'm not mistaken, in that length. And CJ was chopping it up about it, but he just got signed to that deal as well.
yeah,
So the
literally.
Jazz are going to pay the remainder of that. Um, it did interest me that they did so earlier instead of later. I think this improves the Jazz roster now. No doubt you guys are going to be a playoff contender, in my opinion. Um, However, I personally don't think it's going to change the future, which is why they made this trade. And why I say that is not because of the Jazz, it's because of the Spurs, the Thunder. They're also growing young teams with picks and assets, and it's going to be really tough to get over the hump versus them. I think this might put the Jazz back in the spot where they were with Donovan Mitchell. Everybody's going to say it's a great fit. I'm not talking about the fit. I'm talking about the NBA landscape. And that also matters when you make a trade.
Mhm.
It's not just, well, this player's going to be good for us, but like,
Right.
who else is good,
Mhm.
right? That matters. And why are they good? That
Right.
also matters. Did they get all their guys from trades, or do they have draft capital like the Thunder? Like,
Mhm.
how did they get to where they are? And I was chopping it up with CJ about this. Like, sometimes I just don't think. You guys will hear in a second. Some of these trades just don't make sense,
Mhm.
especially if you're an NBA hoop head. Like, we were looking at some of them, we're like, what?
Like
This
why?
one
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense for both sides. Speaking about Memphis as well, you heard what they got back. It was those three firsts.
Mhm.
CJ spoke about it on this podcast, the Desmond Bane trade. They got four firsts in that deal. They've now gotten seven
7.
first round picks in the last 8 months.
Yeah.
So I'd call that a W. And
100%.
we said it before we got on, CJ. They're not fine in the West. That's okay.
Yeah.
Right? That's okay,
Yeah.
right? But this direction is new for the Grizzlies, and I like it for both sides. I don't necessarily think it's going to change the course of the NBA. Like, I still think the Thunder are going to be there. I still think the Spurs are going to be there. And those are the two primary teams that in Detroit, right?
Mhm.
There's other teams in the East, but like the Jazz are in the West, so they have to go through the West.
Right.
But it's I think those are like the NBA landscape matters. The fit does matter. It's a great fit with Walker Kessler, Ace Bailey, Markkinen moves to the three. They gave up Walter Clayton Jr., which isn't an issue on my side. To the Grizzlies, they really wanted him. Clearly, that was their like big asset in terms of a player in
Mhm.
this trade. But I think for what the Jazz have with Isaiah Collier, who got us 17 assists last night, like they have way more than they needed, so they could afford to trade Walter Clayton Jr. and it wouldn't hurt their future. So I know you like the fit as well. Like
Yeah.
I think you'll repeat what I said, but like I think for me, Lowry Marketing, right, is now going to play a lot more. They're going to be a lot more competitive. I think the question is, CJ, are they going to sit Jaren Jackson Jr.? Probably,
Yeah.
right? Because that pick
Yeah.
is going to the Thunder.
Yeah. I'm like, as a Thunder fan, I would love for them to play, but realistically, I just don't know, bro. It's like you said, we were talking about it earlier. There's no real reason for them to compete besides just getting more experience with your team as a unit. So maybe, but I don't know. They're in that weird spot of like they're already doing good. We'll talk about a trade that happened, later on or earlier today, but later on in our trade, tracker. But a team got a little worse in the West that is above them, so they have that opportunity to potentially make that playoff play in area. But if
Yeah.
that's the case, then the Thunder are going to get that pick, and yeah, we already have so many picks, but if you're just kind of adding fuel to the flame with the Thunder at this point. So yeah, no, like you said, no real complaints from me. Getting 3 first round picks for Jaren Jackson Jr. though is crazy when you see all what Luca, Trey, all these other players, and
Yeah.
especially Desmond Bane as well. Someone he used to play with, they got a little less. So it's crazy, but I think he's gonna be good there.
Yeah.
Will Hardy is a great coach. I think he's gonna actually have a competent team that can compete. So that's gonna be interesting to see what that looks like. And I think, bro, it's weird, but I feel like I've like slowly like fucking with the Jazz more. Like I feel like they were already one of those teams that we
They're
got to
cool.
experience them. Playing. I think we both played them in a week, so we both kind of got on the pod and talked about
Yeah.
it, and just kind of seeing the way
Yeah.
they play is just adding Jaren Jackson, Triple J into the mix. He could kind of be their backline defender since Walker Kessler isn't there right now. But when he comes back, he gets to be in his true like power forward position and just be able to have kind of not instant offense, but just kind of the flow of the game with Keontae and Lowry. So I think offensively, it's going to be interesting. So I kind of want to see what that looks like. Just fast forward to next year, see what that roster looks like. But I think it was good. It was a good trade. I think it was one of those kind of random. I didn't expect
Yeah.
Jaren Jackson Jr. to go to the Jazz. I didn't expect the Jazz to be buyers in like now. It was just a weird
Yeah.
time, you know what I mean? So shout out to
Yeah, bro.
them.
I'm
Like
telling
you
you.
said,
Yeah,
like
get to the floor.
finally making the move. And obviously for the future, I don't think this really shifted anything, but I think for the Jazz, like you said, that haven't really been successful since the Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert days. But even when they were there, I think they kind of got capped out at a certain point. So I see what you were saying about that. It kind of looks like that type of situation that they're
Yeah,
going to put themselves back into, to where you can compete in the regular season every year, potentially be the best team in the West, but making it playoffs, we'll see what that looks like, just because the teams in the West are so deep. And my kind of thinking of whenever I saw this too is, this team, if they stay together, obviously Lowry and Triple J are going to be there for a while. Keontae is probably going to get that extension. I'm assuming Walker Kessler as well. So they'll probably have that unit for 2-3 years. If they could get lucky, and I'm not saying the West is going to get as injured as the East is this year, but that's all. A team could get injured, and that could kind of boost them up. So we've seen it with like the
true.
Hawks making it to the conference finals one year. So if they stay
You're
together,
right.
build that continuity up, they're one run away from potentially making it to a conference finals. So not saying that they will, but that's the league is so fickle. It could kind of it could teeter
And,
totter
and,
in a season.
and dude, CJ, like last thing, they did not trade this year's pick, so God forbid they get an AJ DeMansta.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Or
woo.
something like that. It's like you're saying, it's like that changes a lot of stuff.
It
So,
does.
like you're saying, the Jazz. What's the grade? And I guess rated out of 10. So 10 being perfect and one being horrible, the
Grade
worst.
for like who, or just
Oh,
for both? I would say
yeah, both sides.
the Grizzlies probably they get like a B, or shit. Honestly, I would say maybe even like B plus, maybe type of range. That 3 first round picks is kind of crazy,
So, yeah, I
especially
think it's
for
a B
this
plus or
market.
A
B
minus.
plus,
Yeah,
maybe like A
yeah,
minus area. Walter Clayton as well.
pretty good.
Triple J, I think this is like a probably they're
A.
pretty equal, like an A. Yeah, like I think because he's
I
DPOY
was
All
thinking.
Star. He has
So it's
that type of
even.
caliber. Probably the
That's
most
what you'll
even
see. It's even.
the most
Like, and
even
that's
trade.
important because yeah, you guys will see some of these
Some of
aren't
these
even.
are
Like
not
he's gonna
even.
rate.
I'm
Yeah.
about to, yeah.
So I like this. I like
So
this.
and
Like
like I
if you
said,
grade,
if you want me to keep going, you could just tell me keep going. If you want to stop and chop it up about it,
then
we
we'll
can.
chop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
I
chop it
got
up
you. I got
about it.
you.
But like you said, there's some of these trades where it's like, what's going on, But next trade that happened yesterday, it's a Bulls, Pistons, and Timberwolves in a 3-team deal. Chicago Bulls get Mike Conley and Jaden Ivey. The Detroit Pistons get Kevin Herter, Dario Saric, and a 2026 first round pick swap with Minnesota. And Minnesota gets cast considerations.
Yeah, not too much for me. I
Nothing.
think Ivy just goes to a better situation. All right, he hadn't been playing a ton for Detroit,
Ivy
and
and Giddy. What do you think
yeah,
about that
like
backcourt?
I mean, I think that was I think the what the Bulls and CJ will read off later in like they are making plays with the guards just to figure out what
Figure
they have,
something out.
right? So to your point, can Jaden Ivey give us 15 a night, right? If so, we have the capital to sign him.
Hmm.
I think it's more about Jaden Ivey than anything. And Mike Conley, unfortunately, you know, it's kind of a dinosaur. He's probably on his way out.
Hmm.
We all know and love Mike Conley. At one point, had the most expensive contract in NBA history for hoop heads who may not know that. Um, but yeah, it was his time to go.
Gotcha. Yes, sir. Next one. It's another Bulls trade that you talked about earlier. Bulls trade Vucevic for Celtics Simons. Chicago Bulls get Anthony Simons and a second round pick, and the Boston Celtics get Nikola Vucevic and a second round pick.
Yeah, I like this one. I like it from the Celtics side. So Anthony Simons was on the last year of his deal, was expiring money. He was helping them win. It's not to say he wasn't providing value, but making the swap for Vucevic, it gives them another forward. Also, Vucevic is on an expiring deal, so they have the opportunity to re-sign him or let him walk in free agency. I like that swap. The Bulls get Anthony Simons, who personally, in that sort of role, I think can be closer to a Damian Lillard than people realize when given the reins to do so. And that's says something. Like I think Chicago And personally, I don't even think the Blazers ever should have given up Anthony Simons.
Yeah.
Okay, that's thing one. But thing two, like now that he is in a similar situation to what he was on in Portland, I feel like Anthony Simons is going to play a lot better. I like both sides of this. I feel like the Celtics, where they're at, number three, like they
Hmm.
are sitting prettier than we could have ever
A lot of
imagined. I
teams. Yeah.
think Jimmy High Roller made a video and it was like outperforming expectations versus like underperforming. And the Celtics and the Suns
Mm,
are the two teams in the NBA who've outperformed the most relative to last season. Like, last season and what was going on with that.
hmm.
The Celtics had that Tatum injury. But point is, Anthony Simon swap for Vucevic. I like it. I think Celtics, bro, I think they receive, A minus. I think Brad Stevens is smart. Vucevic is, I mean, he's average, but he's
He's
having a career year
yeah.
again.
He's yeah.
It's not like
They needed
he's
more
he's putting up
bench at
real
the
big
big
numbers.
spot too. So
Yeah, they need more depth there, and for the Bulls, they get a guard who they're hoping can be, that same self that he was in Portland.
hmm.
High volume, 3-point shooting, scoring at will, getting guys involved when he feels the need to. Simons only needs to get 6 or 7 assists to be very dangerous because he can put up 30 points in a quarter.
Hmm.
In a quarter,
Yeah.
he can get very, very hot. So I like this a lot for both
Hmm.
sides. I got to give Bulls probably a B plus. I think the Bulls lost a little bit here because Vucevic was really valuable to what they were doing. I think he was holding down the front court for them, and now they're thin there,
Yeah.
right? They don't have
They have
a
nothing
real,
but like guards
they
and
don't really have a real
forwards.
big
Yeah.
besides Mata. Like, and he's not really a big.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, yeah, I like that one too. Like you said, it's the depth for the Boston Celtics being able to get, probably a starting big, honestly. So they have
yeah,
someone that could kind of fill that void for them that they've had this whole season. And then the Bulls, like you said, probably got a little worse, but the player that they got back is pretty good as well. It's just, having him to get acclimated into what the team is trying to do because Giddy, Ivy, and now Simons all on the same roster. What is that going to look like exactly? So, we'll see. But I think, like you said, Simons has the potential of being, we see the highlights whenever, basketball performance posts. Oh, Anthony
yeah,
Simons' performance tonight. And he
yeah.
35, 10 threes, something like that, something crazy. So he has a ability to pop off in a quarter, like you said, and go crazy. So I think the Bulls kind of need that. Just a little more excitement. Jaden Ivey and Anthony Simons, that's gonna be a crazy. I don't know how you're gonna pair it, but back court or 6 man, someone coming off the bench, like one of those. So it's gonna be exciting for them. I'm not saying it's gonna be them like changing to winning games all the time, but I think it's gonna be fun hoops for sure. So especially with
Like you're
Giddy
saying.
running the point, he's gonna be able to create
Yeah.
for them and get them, in their open in their spots. So yeah, I like that trade too. This is probably was probably the big one up until these trades earlier today, but Clippers send Harden to Cleveland for Garland. LA Clippers get Darius Garland and a 2026 second round pick, and Cleveland Cavaliers get James Harden. What are your thoughts on these, bro?
Yeah, I mean, he wanted out, right? Like if James Harden doesn't want to be there, all of a sudden the Clippers have to make a decision. They're in a class action lawsuit with aspiration. They're holding the All-Star game at the Intuit Dome. Like there's a lot going on with that team. I think Kawhi's also like had the best season he's had,
Shit,
right? The
maybe of
last
his
couple,
shit
four,
career,
probably
bro.
four,
He's
five.
having like a career
Yeah,
year. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like it's kind of crazy to say that, but
right.
like
No, right. And
statistically,
so that's also going on. He's actually been healthy.
yeah.
And James Harden blindsides you. So you have to. So Clippers. Let's talk about the Clippers for a second. They're like, okay, who can we get for this cap? That's
Hmm.
what it changes to. He's out the door. Ty Lue got asked about it. He said, "Oh, I only want to talk about players who want to be on the team." Yeah, me too. So who can we get? Let's start calling people. James Harden doesn't want to go to a loser. Cool. Okay, who's winning? Right? They start getting down that short list. I think they hit on Darius Garland and they started asking questions. Can this guy be the point guard of our future? We want to see what he can do in an A type role, right? He's never had the reins to an offense, obviously being with Donovan Mitchell. I think the Clippers were like, yeah, hell yeah, like let's do it. we'll take a loss this season. You know, and I'll have CJ talk about that for his own sake, but they're going to get worse this year. There's no doubt. But I think the Clippers had to make a decision for their future and where they're currently at right now. They can't be thinking about Kawhi and what's going on this year. And that's the truth. Like, that's coming from somebody who has a management thought process behind things. Like, I'm not somebody who's like, oh, like, I think Steve Ballmer realized, oh, we're probably not winning the championship. Yeah, you're not. Okay, cool. Try to go get somebody who's younger, who has a little bit more juice, who it does similar things to Harden. Let's not forget Darius
Right.
Garland is 20, can be 20 and 10 as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they're getting a worse player necessarily. They're getting a younger, person who hasn't proved himself yet. And I think there's a lot of value in that. But Cleveland side, man, oh man, I think Cleveland needs to win now. They're flipping. They're on the opposite of the Clippers mindset, right? Going into the Cleveland Cavaliers mindset, they need to win now. Last season, 60-ish wins. This season's kind of been a disaster. People have been hurt. We need to figure out what we can do now. The Eastern Conference is wide open. Who can we get on this team who can take some of the pressure off of Donovan Mitchell, who gives our team another primary playmaker, somebody who's looking to pass first, who can involve players like Jalen Tyson, Sam Merrill, guys who can shoot the ball really well, right? Because that's what James Harden does. Yeah, they landed on James Harden, and I think the money works. I think their contract. I think James Harden makes 200K a year less than Darius Garland. I think it's in the 42 million range. So that's how the Cavs were able to do it. The swap worked financially. It worked in terms of fit, and that's how you get to where you are today.
Yeah. No,
I
yeah,
think grading it for me, bro, like I think the Cavs get a B. Think it helps them now, doesn't help their future, and they're screwed being in the second apron. So we're gonna talk about that in the offseason files because now they have a how old is James Harden? 37? 36.
36.
36-year-old James Harden only getting older, who you're also only paying more. So B for them. And Clippers probably C plus, bro. Like, I know I'm like, it's just okay, let's Clippers get a C plus because of what they've done over the last few years, and it all comes back to Darius
Garland.
Garland.
Yeah. Yep.
Darius Garland for Shea, Paul George. Kawhi's probably out the door
James
now.
Harden.
Harden.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, you said it, bro. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, I'll say it because I'm straightforward with the audience. I did not know that
Yeah.
James Harden did not or didn't want to be on this roster. I was, there was a lot going on in my day. I just got the notey and it said Harden for Garland, so I was like, what the fuck? So I was assuming that the Clippers traded him just because ZD was telling me no, bro. Harden wanted out, so don't know what happened. That, kind of just tells me that there's something going on in the locker room and that we don't know behind the scenes because they're the hottest team in the league, bro. Like, we've been talking about them all season. It started out, damn, are the Thunder really going to be able to get the AJ or Darren Peterson this year? To now the Clippers are in the play-in. So they just flipped their season and now Harden's wanting to go to a winner. So like you said, they had to take calls and ended up being able to get, something that they liked. And, I like Darius Garland. Like you said, I think people forget how good he is just because we haven't been able to see him consistently. But, this is an all-star, you know what I mean? He's able to, like, he's 20 and 10 and, probably one of the best handles in the league. I feel like it's very underrated and his ability to play make and create his own shot. He's a very good guard, but it's just like you said, and I brought it up just looking at the trade face value. I think they got worse as of right now just because of the caliber that Harden has been playing at this year, but these past two seasons that he's been on the Clippers. So, a downgrade in that sense, but the quality of player is pretty similar. It's just like you said, he's younger, has a little bit of injury history, trying to prove himself, and Harden's already, I told you this, before we started recording. I think he's probably one of the greatest floor risers a team can have. He just kind of elevates a team to he's never missed the playoffs ever in his career. So I think that kind of speaks for itself. But at this moment, for me as a Thunder fan, I love this trade. You know what I mean? I would say it's an A trade in my
Yeah, no,
eyes
nothing wrong with
because
that.
the Clippers, for the Clippers, in my eyes, like circumstances, I would say, like you said, like a C. But like for me as a Thunder fan, they got worse. They traded away a potential All Star player in a season, in James Harden, and then, like you said, Kawhi is having the best season of his career up to this point, arguably, and ends up blowing up, and Harden doesn't want to be there. So I'm not really expecting them to stay on fire. I'll pay attention to that, keep an eye on that, see if how they're doing in their games. But Darius Garland, he's been in and out the lineup this whole season, so I think by default it kind of just makes them a little worse because they're going to be
I
missing
agree.
a guard, number one main
Yeah,
facilitator on that roster. But for Cleveland, bro, I feel like, man, I hate to say, James Harden, prove all the doubters wrong, please. I want to see you go on a run, playoff run with the Cavs and Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. Like he has that, they have that potential. Like he's that type of player that can shift a series, and it's just seeing it consistently in the playoffs. And that's the one thing about Harden, we just haven't seen it, right? So I want it to work out so bad, but I just have a feeling that Harden is gonna harden in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna be good in the regular season, probably be top two, top three, like we predicted, top two. I think that's what we said. Didn't expect James Harden to be on this roster though, but
oh, yeah,
now
that
that he
changes things
is,
a
it
little.
kind of changes some things, and I think it's a good pickup. Like you said, like a B plus, because I think
Yeah,
Harden can elevate them, and it takes away a lot of
exactly.
the on ball pressure that Donovan Mitchell has been getting pretty much every game this season. James Harden is going to be able to distribute the ball a
DJ.
lot easier, and he won't. Donovan Mitchell's probably not going to be as tired at the end of a game, and we've seen what he can do in clutch moments. So think him and James Harden and Donovan Mitchell is gonna be a crazy backcourt, bro. That shit's gonna be. I'm excited to see that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, you explained it very well, but it's just the difference between like future and now.
Yes.
It's like two different franchises thinking differently, and that's yeah. We'll put a bow on that
Yeah, that's a good
because
one.
I think that was like CJ said, like you're 15-3. James Harden asked for a trade. There's not much the Clippers can really do
Mm-hmm.
because they're also in hot water as well. With just everything that's going on, they're about to host the All Star game. They just can't have any shenanigans, and they couldn't send him to a loser. He waived. The trade kicker got waived. James Harden didn't complete his contract on the Clippers. So that was an interesting thing as well. But I wish him the best, bro. Like you're saying, I hope the Cavs are good. I think it'll be hard to get past the Knicks and the Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if Harden can give you the 40, and I also think Donovan Mitchell is a game changer as well. Who Harden can have a game where he gets 15 points and 8 assists and goes 6 of 20 from the
20.
floor.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell had
40.
45
Yeah.
points.
Yeah. That's why that's it's a perfect. It's low key like a perfect pairing. Like it's gonna be interesting to
I
see
can
that.
see why. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And uh, and he's available. Like CJ said it over and over again. Who is available for the Cavs? Darius Garland doesn't play for us.
Mm-mm.
We love him, but we don't have any more money because of him.
Yep.
We need to we
Dump
need
his
to do it
contract.
now.
Yep.
And the East is open
Yep. Yeah,
this
no,
year.
it's wide open. It's our opportunity. So like you said, they win now. James Harden, what is he trying to
Yeah, I
do?
get it.
Get a shit,
And they've
for
been
his.
all in. They just made a swap. They've been all in. I
Mhm.
respect the Cavs, man, and what they've done, like I said, with Ishbia and kind of the Suns revamping. But yeah, the Cavs have been in the second apron. They're paying the tax. They're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna eat on it. I know. I think it's like a 5x for every dollar that they spend over. So they're
They're
deep in the
deep into the
luxury.
luxury tax.
I think hundreds of millions of dollars into the luxury.
Mm-mm-mm.
So
And this was the big one today, early morning. Mavs
oh gosh,
trade Anthony
thank
Davis
God.
to Wizards. Washington Wizards get Anthony Davis, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell, and Dante Exum. Dallas Mavericks get Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Malachi Branham, Marvin Bagley III, 2026 first round pick from OKC, 2030 first round pick from Golden State, top 20 protected, 2026 second round pick from Phoenix, 2027 second round pick from Chicago, 2029 second round pick from Houston. Thoughts, concerns?
Ooh, man, where do we start here? I think this has a lot to do with Cooper Flag, right? And his performance. Anthony Davis not being available. Nico, clearly this trade now is turned into AJ and
Chris
Malachi
Middleton.
Brennan, Marvin and Chris Middleton, and just a bag of chips, right? But
Yep.
um, man, where do I even start? I think the Wizards. Okay, for going all in, I don't really like it even from the Wizards' perspective because like you guys aren't gonna play these guys for this season. You're gonna
Yeah.
try to get the pick. I get it, but then what if AD and Trey like aren't good? What if
Mm.
AD is not available?
Yeah.
Which is
A
the
high
big question.
possibility. Yeah.
And like, what you're just gonna use Alex Sarr and that's it because that's really it. You know,
Yeah.
him and Sarr are gonna that sounds great in theory. Like when we put it on paper, and if you see it in two on 2K, it's like
2K.
91 overall and like
Right.
86 overall.
Yeah.
Alex Sarr, you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But
Yeah.
this is real
Real
life,
life.
bro.
Yeah. 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 No, for
Like
sure.
this is not, and I think the Wizards here a little bit jumped the gun with this because they could have been way more patient and just waited and waited, and the value for him probably could have went down. I think what you gave up to get him doesn't necessarily hurt you like too much, but I think it hurts you. And like I think the Mavericks needed the picks, right? They really want the picks. They were focused on getting a future back because they gave up all their picks because of Luka Doncic, trying to build around him.
Hmm.
So I don't like it from both sides, but I like it more from the Maverick side because they do have Cooper Flag, this I mean, dare I say it, generational talent, whatever you want to call it. I think the Wizards are a little bit on they're smoking hopium. You know what I'm saying? Like they're hoping that
Yeah.
Anthony Davis gives them 50 games. I think you're lucky if he gives you 50 games. And
Yeah.
that has to be baked into the trade. So for my management thought process, like if I had to go back, I wouldn't do this deal if I was Washington.
Yeah.
I don't even think like I just don't see how this ends well. Because Anthony Davis, can you look at his contract? I forget the number, but it's
Yeah. I
like
got you.
$55 million. It would be
Uh.
one thing if Anthony Davis was getting 25, but he's getting 60 million and he's not available.
Yeah. So
It's
Anthony Davis is 54 mil this year, 58
okay.
2026, 62 2027, and he's an unrestricted free agent 2028. Trey is 46 for this year and then 48 for next year. So top two players right now, a player option for 2026 for Trey. But top two players probably not even going to play this season, like you said. So they're banking on getting a top pick and hoping that they can be what they were 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah,
And
I don't know.
yeah.
I'm praying for you, Washington. Because like I know like you guys have the stars now and
Yeah.
like it looks good. Like I saw
Yeah.
the starting five and they're like, ooh, Trey
Oh, Trey
Johnson
John.
and
Yeah.
and
Alex
Sarr. And,
Sarr.
like, I'm like, ooh. But like, what about on game 60 and Anthony Davis has been out half the games? Trey is throwing, turning the ball over 9 times a night, getting 30. Like it's still
Yeah.
uh, it's not a it's not like moving the needle for me,
Yeah. No, I agree.
So the fact that you took on the bad contract as well, I have to give it a D plus for the
Mm.
Wizards. The Mavs are receiving a B. You got rid of a nasty contract in Anthony. And honestly, I don't think the Mavericks should have ever traded Luka Doncic. Just spoiler, okay?
Right.
Like I'm sorry that happened. If you still think about that, like I'm sorry because I'm not a Dallas fan. I know I'm a Lakers fan. I always talk about it, but I don't know how y'all feel because we didn't do that. So I'm trying to speak with a little bit of like, some, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I know
like
what you're saying.
understanding for that.
Yeah.
But the fact that I have Cooper Flag, I think it bumps the grade up more. If y'all didn't have it, I'd be like, what are y'all doing? You're trading like Anthony Davis, Kyrie.
Who you
Those are the
trade?
people
Yeah.
who are left. Yeah, like you don't have nobody else.
Right.
But the fact you got Cooper
Cooper.
Flag,
Yeah.
it's just it changes my grade for them. So D plus for the Wizards and B for the Mavs.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the same boat as you, bro. It's they're betting on them still having that juice in them whenever they come back from their injuries, and whoever they end up getting in the draft, is going to be a good player. It's just how is that going to fit? Like you said, it with your. Let's be real. I mean, I feel like we could probably expect, like you said, maybe 50 games from Anthony Davis. Trae Young is
Yeah,
probably gonna get probably good numbers, but may not be the most efficient. And you're probably gonna have Alex Sarr or Trey Johnson jump next year. So it was funny. I saw someone a tweet, and it was to the Anthony Davis trade, like Shams tweet, and it said, "Damn, this is going to be the most exciting 30-win team in league history." And I was like, "Wow, that is a great way to describe this
yeah, it's like
circumstance."
probably.
But no,
Yeah, I
yeah,
feel
like you
the
said,
Prince
I
team-
agree with you, bro. It's I think the Mavericks getting those picks, I feel like it was just kind of to make it seem like they got that 2030 Washington or Golden State pick really good. We don't know what the
really good.
Warriors are going to be, but obviously this year's draft pick is going to be the Thunder. It's probably going to be end of the first round, and then the second round picks are kind of whatever. But you're really banking on that 2030, and then I guess maybe some
Well, yeah, I'll be
veteran
honest.
leadership from Chris Middleton.
I think any first round pick in the 2026 draft is valuable.
Yeah,
So I'll say that.
yeah, that's
Any
valid.
pick, any of the 30. I think there are more than 30 guys in this 2026 draft class that make an impact.
Yeah, no, yeah,
I think it's
this
that good.
is deep. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, the Mavs win. Obviously, like you said, on
Yeah,
paper,
like you're saying, the
the
Mavs win.
Wizards, this roster, this is probably the most hype that Wizards fans have been in a very long time. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's a good point you brought that up. I think you guys should be excited because this is perfect case scenario. Like I'll explain the perfect case scenario. We explain worst case scenario. AD plays 55 games. Trae Young is less inefficient, and your defense doesn't suck. You get the 7 seed,
Boom.
and you make the playoffs, and you
You
guys are like, man, we have some
you lose
juice here.
in what, 6 in the
Yeah, you
first
might
round?
lose, but like you can build. Like it
Build.
doesn't matter. You
Yes.
got to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
to that
It's just
point.
getting to
And like
that.
CJ's saying, you might lose, but like just getting those guys in that environment, you're like, all right, bro, this could be possible. Like it makes more sense to pay you
Right.
because like we have, like we have some sort of future here, and eventually we know like AD will retire,
Mm-hmm.
so we're not gonna pay him 65 million forever,
Right.
right? So it's like if he can show us that it's might be worth the investment, even if he does get hurt again, like that's yet to be seen. But I think that's best case scenario, and I think the Trae Young trade helps this trade a little bit too. If they didn't have Trae Young again, who's going to throw lobs to AD? Like
Right.
it doesn't really make sense to get Anthony Davis, but trading for Trae Young and then trading for Anthony Davis does make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
So like I'll try. It's not an F. I said a D plus. So
Yeah.
like I trying to give you
A
guys
little bit of
Washington a
leeway.
little bit
Yeah.
of credit.
No, yeah, I agree. Like you said, and they have all right to be excited. Anthony Davis, Trae
Yeah,
Young, like you said, on paper, that's like a what? So shout
yeah,
out
like
to the Wizards, but it's going to be a lot harder than probably what they're assuming. They're just assuming these guys are gonna come back and be all stars.
like you're saying, bro. Like it's gonna be like first week of the season next year. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, both of them will be healthy.
Yep. Going into the next trade, bro. We got the boys. Sixers trade McCain to the Thunder. Oklahoma City Thunder get Jared McCain. Philadelphia 76ers get 2026 first round pick from Houston, 2027 second round pick, most favorable picks from OKC, Houston, Indiana, and Miami, and then two 2028 second round picks from OKC and Milwaukee. Yeah, I'll start this one off, bro. I think this is obviously Jared McCain hasn't been playing to the best of his abilities this year. He's coming off that injury towards ACL, but I think let's not forget the player that he was his rookie year, prior to this injury. We were calling him rookie of the year up until that point. And I think he does what we need. You know what I mean? Like being that kind of offense that, I was watching a clip of his his little highlight reel from last year. I think hoopin oh no. What's the page on
Uh,
Twitter? Sorry. That
oh,
sidetrack
oh,
that
basketball performances.
no, it's the other one that would like post like it'll post like a picture of someone. Holy shit!
Stat here.
Hoop University.
Uh,
He was
yeah,
like
we talked
Jared. We talk about them a lot because they'll post the graphics and stuff. But
about
he posted like a highlight reel of like Jared McCain's like shot creating and 3-point creation and making, of course. And bro, like that's exactly what we need. I've been talking to you. Everyone knows how I feel about our 3-point shooting. Getting Jerry McCain, I think he has the potential to be like Isaiah Joe, a better version of Isaiah Joe. I guess I'll say that because Isaiah Joe, as great as he is, he's a good defender and he's a 3-point shooter. I think Jared McCain could have the potential of being like a
yeah,
6 man of the year type of person. You know what I mean? Obviously,
yeah,
AJ Mitchell's kind of in that role. He's been injured, and I think this trade it's not like it wasn't the MPJ or something that the huge splash, but I think this is a low key a pretty good trade. The Thunder don't really make a lot of trades, or if they do, it's kind of we'll go into the next one as well. But after you say your talks about however you feel about this trade, but we don't really do that much trade, so I think this was like kind of where we have a hole. We need 3-point shot making and someone that could be able to score, and especially with the amount of injuries that we've had all year, I think this is a good way for Jared McCain to try to get his footing back. I don't know if it's going to be that easy, but you traded him, a young guy. This is his second season in the league. You gave him to probably one of that team you probably should not have given him to, because he's going to get the opportunities. We have really good player development. We're one of the best defense, if not the best defense in the league. And what is Jared McCain not good at? Defending. And you're putting him around good defenders. So you're kind of having him go out there and just get buckets. And I think he's going to have to defend. I mean, you're going to get exploited if not. But when you have those type of defenders near you, it's a little bit easier for you to kind of get it going. So I'm excited, bro. I think this is a good trade for us personally. I think we get something that we were lacking. And, the Philadelphia 76ers end up getting the first round pick from Houston. Like you said, a lot of talent in this draft. So kudos to them. But at the same time, I might take your talking point, Z, but you said they're relying a lot on VJ at this point. But what if he gets injured? Now you don't have anyone to kind of really back him up, or Tyrese Maxey as well. So, but getting that first round pick, I think it was good for them. But I would give this trade, man, like a B, like a B plus. It's not a perfect trade, but I think for what Jared McCain has and his strengths are what we lack, and what his weaknesses, we have the players that can help out. It's just hopefully him getting back into the groove of things. I think we haven't seen that since he came back. That's my only thing that I'll say that kind of hesitant. But I think he has the opportunity. He's gonna get playing time now, and it's just kind of getting him into the flow of things. But what better situation could you put a guy in with being with the Thunder and just everyone that they got on that roster? So I like it. I like the trade.
Yeah, no, I think you explained it pretty well. I think it's an A for the Thunder, a C for the Sixers. I don't like it. Like you already explained, VJ and Maxey have played so many minutes, and the Sixers have been like not necessarily the healthiest team over the last 3 years, right? Add Paul George's suspension on top of that, you're just gonna give all those minutes to Maxey and Edgecombe, and like they're gonna keep playing them. But like CJ said, one day, God forbid, they're out 2-3 weeks, and like you're gonna have to find, I know they got Quentin Grimes and like a couple other guys, but like I think Jared McCain was low key better than that. That you just didn't give him the opportunities. The Thunder, on the other hand, saw that. I was speaking to CJ about it earlier on the pod, but like they have a scout team. All teams do. Everybody kind of knows and is studying what they need. And post All Star break, I asked CJ in a recent pod we put out, what are three things that you think, two things that your team needs to improve on post All Star break? And he already brought those up. It's the 3-point shooting, the creation outside of Shea and J Dub and Chet. And Jared McCain is that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think personally he's to me like he's better than Isaiah Joe. He's
Mm-hmm.
better than Lou Dort.
Yep.
Like, and I just saw it.
Yeah.
Like in the Sixers, I guess just didn't want that anymore. And so to me, that was a head scratching one. Like when I said there's some puzzling ones on here, I still told this to CJ. Like I would have looked at Daryl Morey and been like, mm-mm.
Yeah, like don't
Like
do
that's not
that.
a good
Yeah.
idea. One, because you already said it, you're gonna give him to the Thunder out of all the other teams in the NBA. But two, what if our guys get hurt
Mm-hmm.
and he's playing well?
Yeah.
So for the Sixers fans, I know you guys didn't like it either. Like I saw it on X, I saw it um on their Instagram. Like I saw it in the comments because it popped up and it was like, "Thank you, Jared," or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I saw people; they were like, "What are you guys doing? Why would you trade him to the Thunder?" It's like, yeah,
Like, yeah.
probably should have thought about that before. Sam Presti obviously doesn't care now, and it's this one was one of the ones where I was like, I don't like this at all
No.
because I thought it's definitely puzzling on the Sixers end, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I like it for the Thunder. I think the Thunder got better, which we continue to say,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't really news anymore. But the Sixers got worse, which they're like, I don't know, bro. I think like he would have been really good to have on the championship team post Embiid and Paul George, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
God forbid.
Yeah,
But
he would have
I
been
don't
like
know.
a perfect, like I said, like 6 man or maybe a starting guard next to
Yeah,
next to VJ or Tyree,
somebody
so
or
yeah, whoever.
yeah,
Yeah, like
whatever. And
it's
really an injury situation, like he probably would have been a 6 man, like CJ's saying,
yeah.
but like somebody gets hurt, he could fill in and give you 20 and yeah. And now the
Give you a
Thunder have
starter
that, and I think
with AJ Mitchell
AJ
too.
Mitchell might take a hit, but I
Yeah,
think he'll still be fine. Like I still think he'll get his shots.
that's
I think
gonna
the
be
person who I think the person who might take a hit is J Dub. Honestly, he might not get the 27 a game that I thought he may get in his career, but it
right.
might be like 20.
Yeah, he's
Which is
gonna be
a
like
lot.
the Swiss Army knife for us, where he's just kind of doing what, not
He
getting
just
like
does
you said,
whatever.
high
But in
twenties,
the
but he's
playoffs,
getting
though, nah, that'll change.
yeah.
In the
They
playoffs, though. But
but going into the next one, man, it's another Thunder trade. Or my bad, it's a Hornets Bulls swap guards
trade, yeah,
in 3-team deal. So the Chicago Bulls get Colin Sexton, Usman Jiang, 2029 second round pick, least favorable of Denver or Charlotte, 2031 second round pick, New York Knicks, 2031 second round pick, Denver. Charlotte Hornets get Mike Conley and Kobe White. And they also get the 2029 second round pick, most favorable of Atlanta or Miami. And the Oklahoma City Thunder get Mason Plumlee, who we end up waiving. So just a contract dump situation for us. But
yep,
any
nothing really to say.
nothing to really
Huh?
say.
I mean,
Kobe
just the
White,
salary filler
Hornets.
and yeah, well, the Hornets, right? Because
Right.
they've made like just some moves with that in terms of like where they're going with their team. I think they get better here, and I don't know. Like you said it, the Thunder are always a part of these 3-team deals, but I don't know, man. It's more puzzling on the Bulls side, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't
Because
really.
like I guess you remove all the guard, like you remove a guard who was real good to get another guard who like does the same thing,
Yeah.
and kind of and
It's
like
pretty similar.
maybe he
Yep.
might play a little bit, yeah, and like maybe a little bit better defense, but like even that, I think he was more of a cornerstone than Sexton was, right?
Right. Yeah, that's why it's kind of. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what the
But even
Bulls.
for the Hornets, you have to say that for them, the Hornets too, because like why trade Colin Sexton if it's working?
Right.
Like y'all have been doing a good job,
Mhm.
and now you're gonna add Kobe White, who isn't as good on defense. Y'all really struggle with that already.
And what is he
So
gonna
like,
be
I
coming
think
off the bench, or what is he gonna be doing, or is he gonna be
that's a good
you know what I
question.
mean? Like,
Um, I
LaMelo,
think
P.
he'll play
Miller.
himself in either to that 6-man rule or into the starting lineup, and they'll just be smaller.
Mm.
So they'll probably run, or sorry, not even smaller because LaMelo and Brandon Miller are
Right.
much bigger for their position.
They'll just
They'll just
move
be more on the
Miller to the
wing.
third
Yeah, they'll move
or
Miller to the
three.
three. Yeah, and they'll just have they're probably at the four. Sorry, they'll have it'll go
Con.
Ball,
Yeah.
White, Knuckle. Sorry, because you have to put Con in there,
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he's starting no matter what. And Kobe White can't play the three like
Right.
Con can.
Mm.
So,
Dang. Yeah, that's gonna be
but
Miles
Brandon Miller's
Bridges.
6'9", 6'10", like you're
Yeah.
saying, he can play the four. It's not his position, but he can.
That's
He
gonna
can
be
do it.
interesting because isn't Miles Bridges? He's still there too.
So that was my follow-up question to you. Does Miles Bridges go? That's what I was gonna ask you.
I Now I'm thinking
'Cause I've
about
always,
it.
I've always, I've always been like, oh, I don't like him. I told you I don't really like his contract.
Right. You don't like his contract. Yeah. That's
It's kind of like he's an empty scorer.
yeah.
And now that you have like Knuckle and White and like those, I think White's younger than him as well,
Yep.
which is another W. Younger than Sexton, or I think a year younger than Sexton. I know he's like a couple of years younger than Bridges.
Bridges. Yeah.
So yeah, I know Colin. I might have been in the same draft cast, so I don't want to say that he's younger than Colin, but Bridges, I know he's younger than. So yeah, interesting. We'll have to see what they do. Like I know, like you guys might have wanted us to talk a little bit longer about it, but we have some things to get to. I'll rate Bulls and Hornets. The Thunder doesn't really matter in this case. Bulls get a C for that. I think the Hornets get a B because I
Hmm.
think the Hornets can utilize that a little bit differently with the lineups that they have, right? But the Bulls, again, like you're gonna have to do some sort of move like in the next day or so, so that way you don't have 10 guards on your roster.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think you're. I feel like they always put themselves in like a strange situation. I feel like
Yes,
the
range.
the
Just
Levine
puzzle.
DeRozan situation, and then now it's like they have a whole bunch of guards. So it's like, what is your direction? What are we doing? You signed Giddy
Yeah.
to a pretty good contract at the time that we thought was going to be very valuable, and then you surround him with guards. So we'll see how that turns out. And like you said with the Hornets, I think it just puts them in a better situation for getting more depth at the guard spot. Like you said, Colin Sexton was doing great for them, so don't really know why they wanted to get rid of him. But you get Kobe
Right.
White, who, like you said, might be a better scorer, quote unquote, but
Yep.
a little less on the defensive side. So I guess if they're wanting to, key in onto what they're good at and kind of be the best at scoring, they can try, but you're gonna have to defend. So we'll see what that looks like. But I like it, Hornets, like you said, I think they got the better of the deal, and then the Bulls, it's just kind of what kind of trades do they do?
They might be getting him to make another one. Like
Another
you can
trade.
trade twice. It's not all like hopeless for the Bulls, and Sexton's still good. Like Sudos, like it's not like you got nothing. You
Yeah.
could have traded Kobe. What like you could have given up. Um, I don't know. Like let's say the Bulls were like, oh, we want to trade you for Kobe White, and we're like, cool, we'll give you LaMelo Ball. It's like okay, well, like that's not gonna work, right? But
Right.
so being smarter about it, I guess, just up to phrase it for the audience.
Hmm.
Trying to think of a way to say that.
So we have two more. I don't know if you want to talk about it. I could just say the headline and just kind of go from there. Chris Paul to Raptors and 3-team deal.
I like that because he kind of got booted out, right? And
Hmm.
going back to what we said with the Clippers, I just think it's a nasty organization. So good for him.
And then Jazz acquire Ball from the Cavs and 3-team deal, and I think he ended up getting waived. So
I don't know why they waived
the
him.
Hawks got Landell.
Yeah. Going back to Ball though, I didn't like that the Jazz waived him because I think they could have. I think he's somebody who'd be willing. You could pay him like Kevin Love,
Hmm.
and just like be like, oh, bro, we'll pay you $4 million to sit, but
Yeah.
like you could teach some guys like, yo, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what I see as like one of the better passers in the NBA. I just don't play a lot, but like I think there was still value there, so that was interesting to see him get dumped so quickly
Yeah.
from Utah.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
didn't
think
really
he
like
was
him.
going to. I thought he was going to be able to,
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I thought he was going to play this season, and like for the guys who aren't playing this year, like
Mhm.
Jaren Jackson. He'll probably still sit Lowry, but you can play Alonzo Ball and like he'll play,
Hmm.
help guys get better. So I didn't really like that because I think he's been okay this season. The Landale trade is interesting because he's been good too.
Hmm.
He's probably had the best season of his career this year. It's interesting that he's getting traded because he's torched your team a few times. He
Yeah.
torched mine.
Yep.
Um, just one of the better shooting big men that we have, and we don't talk about him a ton, but you guys have heard his name on the pod because he's cooked us. But um, yeah, bro, I think for me it's like Lonzo, CP3, like some of the falling outs of all of these trades are those guys. I think the Raptors acquired CP3 to teach Scott like for veteran purposes.
Hmm.
I thought the Jazz did so with Lonzo, but they let him go.
They let him go, and then that's it, man. That's all we have right now. We'll probably
Yeah,
get more tomorrow. No Giannis talks
yeah,
yet. A lot of rumors. I think Braun was in trade rumor talks. Draymond has been in trade.
yeah. No, no, no. Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, so we can talk about that. I think Lakers are going to be. I want to see Dalton Connect and Gabe Vincent get traded. I think Dalton Connect deserves to play more, especially for a team that wants to play him. Uh, like CJ just brought it up, Draymond Green in a post game presser was like, "Yo, if this was it, I appreciate y'all." Like, I think he was thinking the guys in the media in the front because they're the same people every day.
Hmm.
So I think he knows something that we don't as well with that. And like I told CJ, the Warriors situation is a complete disaster now because regardless if you trade Draymond or not, he's not going to want to be there anymore because you did put him in trade talks and like you were willing to get rid of him. But Braun's going to stay with us, bro. We'll see if he walks in free agency. We'll see if Reeves walks in free agency, which I could foresee happening. I think him getting hurt changed his mentality on how this is going to go moving forward. But yeah, I don't have any more comments on the trade deadline. I'm all trade deadlined out. I'm like,
Yeah.
my
No,
gosh,
bro. All this
yeah, I'm
preaching
just like,
trade. This team got yeah, bro. Yeah, that was
I'm
low
just
key.
like, man.
Like almost the first hour of the pod was nothing but
No, yeah, no, and I'm sure we gave the
that
people like for y'all
was.
that are stuck it out. Like we appreciate it, bro, and we have no problem doing it. I just think you guys are like probably like I don't want to hear about this anymore either.
No, yeah, I feel you about it, but no, yeah, that was good. That was good. We got some good content, probably some good clips and everything. So
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no doubt. I think we can skim through some of these lineups. You can talk about Thunder Lakers. Honestly, you guys may not even want to hear about it. I think the Thunder got that huge. Both of our
dub,
teams got huge wins. I
yeah.
don't even know if you really want to
Yeah,
talk
we
about
we
it.
beat
It's
the
really
Magic,
otherwise.
bro. It was like we just dominated
Badly.
them. Yeah, it wasn't even like a
Yeah.
easy dub, but I mean, I guess that
And we killed
you.
the Nets too.
I would say you
We
you
killed
brought
those.
it up. I think before we started. I think it's gonna be a story of the week for us too. But that Shea injury, right? I think he was able to
Um,
get his 20 in the three
and got
quarters, sat him, and then come to find out he's been injured. So he probably's been injured for a while, and he's been the only one that hasn't been sitting for us. So think it's for us. It's at a point of season. Zaya Hartenstein, I got a triple double yesterday, so shout out to
yeah.
that. But yeah, we're just kind of beat up right now, bro. So I think this is a kind of perfect timing. Shea's probably not gonna play in the All Star game this year, but he was able to get the starter spot, and we'll
Yeah.
see who ends up getting that spot now. So it's gonna be interesting because it's an international.
No, you're right. You're right. It's an international spot. It may be. We don't know if it'll be a guard or a forward, and I think the Magic too are also just more on the disaster side right now. Again, like
Exactly.
we've spoken about them when we've chopped it up. It's like they run into a team who clearly is going to blow them out at the
Yeah.
Paycom Center, but I think it's more about Orlando's struggles. But I Heart triple double played really well for us. We played the Nets. We just killed them, bro. Just I was telling CJ, really fun offense, high octane. Austin Reeves, first game back in a while, so that was super dope. But Luca, I mean, controlling the pace in LeBron, right? I think LeBron still getting up at the age that he's doing that at, and I think he ended up finishing with like 20-ish points, if I'm not mistaken. I think he had 25 and 7.
Hmm.
So he's still doing it at that age is pretty crazy to me. We won 125, 109. It was a blowout in the first half. Honestly, turned it off. We set the tone early with our defense.
Hmm.
The Nets couldn't hit a shot. Playing on the road as well, we did decently well at the end of this road trip, which is also good. And I think, I said it last time on the pod, but that loss to the Knicks, even though we lost, what did I say? The defense,
Mm-hmm.
right? 109 points. I know it's the Nets, but still 112 or it's 112, 109.
Mm-hmm.
We can win a lot of games. I said we can win a lot of games if we hold teams to under 112. So Lakers are rolling as of now. I'm feeling pretty good about my team, and my team's healthy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one thing that I'm thankful for. I know you're about to get into it in a second, but yeah, the Thunder are probably the most injured team right now, and for them to be 40-11 is crazy. But I think I think Shea will miss 2-3 weeks, but I think the timing of the trade, him sitting out, because I don't know if he had a conversation with them with their front office this morning, but I think it was on ESPN like 4 hours ago, bro. Like before I was doing that outline, so they didn't even have him out in the injury report.
Mm-hmm.
So that must have been a separate article. Like somebody must have got that information
Oh,
somewhere else.
interesting.
I didn't even Yeah, I didn't even see it on. I didn't see him on the injury report this morning when I was trying to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and then I saw it. I saw that notification, and I was like, "It's weird." He must have like told them something.
Yeah.
Like, but I think it's smart, bro. Like, I think it's for the betterment of the playoffs in that regard. But I think Shea being hurt just changes a lot in the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, is he gonna miss 15 games?
Yeah. Yeah, that's we'll see, bro. I didn't like we said. I didn't even know he was injured. Like obviously, I knew he's been getting beat up, but I didn't know he was going to be out.
Be
Especially
out.
around this
Yeah,
time.
like,
But like you said, I think the timing of it is where it's a little more intriguing because it's right a week before All Star, and just kind of you're gonna have a couple of days off anyways. So I think it was. I mean, like you said, the fact that we are beat up, we've been injured all year, players in and out the lineup, and we still are able to have have 40 wins and be at the top of the West. I think it kind of speaks for itself. But it's gonna be tough, bro. This stretch is gonna be tough without Shea, of course. I mean, he's our best player and he's the engine to our offense, but it's gonna open up a lot of things in the NBA, bro. Like I'll let you talk about it, but just for us, it's gonna give us these opportunities for our younger guys to step up. And they've been doing it all year, but it's kind of in a situation where I've talked about it. We're having to play our 13th, 14th man on our roster right now, and hopefully getting Jared McCain and like I said, I'm not expecting him to pop off game one, but hopefully he's able to, translate a little bit better
I
than
think
he
he
has been.
will.
I think he will
Yeah, I
too.
think
He's gonna get the looks, so I think that's the thing with me. It's we don't have a shooter that I'm like confident in. If he could get it, if he could get it going, bro, getting open looks, that's all a shooter really needs to really, jumpstart that momentum again. And I think, we talked about it for,
he ain't
earlier.
contested threes too, though. That's why.
No,
That's why
yeah.
I'm like, who would you trade this cat? This cat was like hitting contested threes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, point is though, yeah, I think it's just for a couple reasons. Shea goes out. I think a lot of teams are hurt right now, but Giannis is yet to be traded. We'll see how that messes with the league, but I think it's Luka, right? Like,
Mm-hmm. Me
for
too.
people who've been waiting for Luka to get an MVP, Luka's been healthy this entire season,
Yep.
which for the first time in his illustrious career, you could call it, because he's 9-time first team All NBA already. Like, he just doesn't ever miss first team All NBA. He's gonna make it again this year if he can be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, facts.
He is the healthiest MVP candidate. Jokic has been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Wemby's been hurt.
Yep.
Wemby's hurt all the time.
Giannis.
And Shea's
Yep.
and Giannis. And Luka is the last man standing. And I think that speaks to his, he's in shape. Like, you got to give him credit. He's taking a beating. He's the highest usage guy in the NBA right now, and I think it's just more of a case for him. And if you've been waiting on that, like I have been, it's really dope to see, because I think the NBA is going to make that change, especially if Shea isn't playing and Luka is. They value that over anything. And so I'm expecting him to become number one over the next couple weeks. And knowing Luka, if he's number one already, it takes a lot for him to get passed up.
Yep.
So I think it's the best opportunity that he's ever had in his NBA career to win an MVP award. For those people who might still be Mavericks fans who cheer him on, like I think this is kind of what it's becoming to be. And I also think it changes a lot for other teams, right? The Spurs are more concerned about their win-loss record. I think the Rockets are as well. The Nuggets are too. They see this as an opportunity to not necessarily catch the Thunder. I think they're really far out, and I think when Shea comes back, they'll probably go like, let's say he misses 13 games, they probably go. I'm thinking like what, like 7-6.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
that's
like
kind of
around
what I'm.
500.
Mhm.
That's yeah. So like they're not realistically, you're not going to catch them at one, right? But you just want to see like, okay, like who do the Thunder got that could do something when Shea's not there? That's what
Mhm.
CJ was talking about. Like, can Jared McCain be impactful?
Yep.
Is Chet gonna play or is he not gonna play? Does he not want to play with Shea and J Dub?
Right.
Is he all of a sudden gonna be hurt every game too? So
Mhm.
yeah, I think there's gonna be some things that happen in the NBA because of Shea's injury. Just keep an eye out for Luca. Obviously, that was the biggest one. But I also think the Giannis trade will also add something that I don't know what it'll add to the Shea injury, but wherever Giannis ends up, and I think he will be traded before the deadline. Like I think it'll either happen maybe
Like
later
soon,
tonight,
yeah.
in the morning,
Hmm. Or before.
something might happen, but I just think that there's going to be a move done with him. And so I think I could add to that topic, but for now it's just about Luca and the teams in the West, understanding that OKC, they smell blood in the water, and
Hmm.
this is an opportunity to kind of knock off the champ. You guys got to remember they're defending champions. Just clearly far and away the best team in the league. I think they're the reason why the Jazz made this trade today. That's why I brought them up an hour ago. A lot of stuff happens in the NBA because of OKC, bro.
Hmm.
So I think that's kind of a perfect way to like even us, like I think we got Luca because we're trying to beat OKC. Like we don't have anybody that's a guard who can go with Shea
Hmm.
and J-Dub, and now we have that. The Rockets go get Kevin Durant. Why? They're trying to beat OKC.
Yep.
They don't have a go-to scorer. Like I could go on forever, right? But it's the Thunder. It's Thunder or nothing,
Yep.
right?
Yes, sir.
So I know for you, you're thinking about it in that regard, and I just think for me, I'm just excited about Luca and what he can do, and seeing Jared McCain too. That's kind of another like sleeper thing that I'm
Hmm.
excited about. But I think he will play a lot more, and I think he'll be able to like. I think he gets the freedom from the jump, and I think those guys will embrace him. So I don't think he'll feel like uncomfortable.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I think it's dope though. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah. No,
We'll
it's
see where Giannis goes though.
that's what I'm
We'll
waiting for,
see.
bro. I feel like that because Alex had asked me that he's like, "Hey, where you think Giannis is going?" I'm like, I mean, there's been talks Warriors. I've been seeing Portland, but like that's what everyone's waiting for. Like that's
I saw
the
T Wolves
T Wolves. Yeah.
like, and I could see that, and the cash considerations they got off of Mike Conley today.
Mm.
Yeah, man, they're trying to. I
They're
think
trying to. What would
I
they
saw the offer. I think it's on Twitter. It was Jaden McDaniels and their picks, but I don't know if the Bucks. I think the Bucks wanted more
for? Yeah.
because they're trying to get another. So they're trying to get another team involved. But I heard they offered Jaden McDaniels, and if I'm being honest, bro, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's dumb. I think the Bucks would win that trade, and it's not even because of like not in the now, but in overall. Because Giannis, again, has he been available? Not really. You talked about it on one of our clips, bro. Like he ain't been in the playoffs really. Like he
Right.
plays sometimes, but he's gone down the last 2 years. It's tough for me to be like, all right. But that definitely gets them over the hump in terms of being like, all right, if they got back to the Western Conference Finals,
They have. Yeah. They got
they got a chance.
and Giannis now. Yeah.
They got a chance. So like I see it.
Yeah.
I can see where they're going with it. But yeah, that's a different. To Alex's question, bro, we don't know, but I think that, like I said it a couple minutes ago, that would
That's
change
the
my opinion a little bit on Shea's injury, even. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah, bro. Yeah, it's tough, bro. We'll see. Like you said, probably over the next 13, however many games Shay's gonna be gone, we'll probably go 500. So, I
Yeah,
think the losses haven't became as dramatic as they were at the beginning of the year. So that's for me and my like sanity and just seeing it all the time, it's good. But it's just one of those, like, I think it's, once we got to the point where it's like, oh, we're probably not gonna beat the record, then it became, oh, okay, well, it is what it is. But bro, I just
It's
remember
what
it
it is,
every
right?
time, bro. Every time we lost, oh my gosh, the Thunder. I'm like, I get it, but come on. But it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of shifts into the league. Like I said, that Shea injury is what kind of did
Changed
it.
a lot.
Yeah, it changed a lot,
Yeah,
man. Like you
dude.
said.
And we can skim through the previews. Like we'll get through the games because you guys will see how many guys are out. So it's like really whatever. The Cavs Clippers game, I did want to tell you guys as well, is not the featured one that we were hoping for.
Mm,
I think Garland and Harden are out, which
mm,
of course they are.
of course.
Thunder Spurs, everybody's out for the Thunder.
Yep.
It's not really an interesting game,
Yeah, our
unfortunately.
starting lineup was
Everybody's out, right?
Kenrich Williams, Jay
Yeah,
Will,
there you go.
Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, and Aaron Wiggins.
There you guys go. So that's that game. I put it in there. They're 1-3 versus the Spurs. They may lose this one if the Spurs are
Mm,
starting their guys. But I
yeah.
did see that Castle and Harper were game time decisions. Did they play?
Let me check. They Castle played, and who was the other one you said? Sorry,
Harper.
Harper. No, Harper's not playing.
DMP. Yeah. So that was probably because they saw the lineup. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't need to go because we don't. So that one's kind of over with. I hate to say it, but
Yeah.
I was more excited about that matchup. But things have changed with that. So we'll pass over that one. Nuggets Knicks was a great one. I'll go through that one real quick for you guys. The Nuggets were missing Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson. I think Christian Brown was listed as a game time decision, so hopefully he ended up going. The Knicks were missing Josh Hart, Miles McBride. Miles McBride could potentially get traded. I don't know if he will, but hopefully not. But I think that could be potentially why he's out because I didn't hear him getting injured. McCullough, what happened?
Jalen Brunson had 42, double overtime. Jamal Murray 39, Nikola Jokic 30. Oh my
Banger.
goodness! And the
I knew
Knicks
that
and
was
the
going to
Knicks
be.
won.
So I was gonna say that's the only game that I was like, this one
Yeah.
has a chance to be a banger. Why? Because
Damn.
nobody's out.
Out. Yeah.
Nobody's out. So the Nuggets were fifth. Up until that point, like CJ just said, the Nuggets were fifth in the NBA in offensive rating over their last five, scoring 119.3 points per 100. And they probably just improved it going with into a double overtime game.
Yeah.
The Knicks ranked third in offensive rating over that same span up until that point, with scoring 121 points per 100 possessions. So both of those teams were blazing on offense, and clearly you saw that in that game. The Knicks were 5-0 over their last 5 games, and the Nuggets were 2-3, with 2 losses coming to Detroit and 1 loss coming to OKC. So Nuggets went into this one a little bit stumbling, but man, it looked like it was a banger,
Banger,
right?
bro. Yeah. They
Let's go.
the Nuggets shot 26% from 3.
That's probably why they
That's why they
lost.
lost.
It's
Yeah.
important. Yeah,
Nikola
dude.
Jokic was 1 for 13.
I like
Still 30
he
though.
didn't stop shooting,
Yeah, I was
right?
still 30.
So yeah, of course, and like CJ said, he's still gonna give you 30, even on the off nights. But
30-point
that was a
triple double.
banger of a game. If you saw that, like what I know this is gonna drop later, so the previews are really just so you hear the storylines.
Right.
It's not about the games going on, but when this comes out, I know people who watch that excited.
Yeah, that was
Excited.
crazy. That banger.
Yeah, no, facts. The next one was T-Wolves Raptors. The T-Wolves were missing Shannon Jr., who's been out the last 2 weeks. You guys have heard that repeatedly. And then Edwards and Randall were listed as game time decisions. I don't know if they went, CJ.
Yes, they went.
They went. Cool. T-Wolves or Raptors win in that one
T-Wolves won by 2.
by 2. So it was a close game. And I'll get into why. The T-Wolves were 4-6 over the last 10, and the Raptors were 6-4. So flip-flop. The T-Wolves ranked 16th in the NBA net rating over their last 10 games with a plus 1.5 net rating, and the Raptors ranked 17th in the NBA net rating over their last 10 over that same span with a plus 0.9 net rating. So both of those teams were pretty much similar over their last 10 games. On the season, the T-Wolves were 31-20, and the Raptors are 30-21. So again, Very similar squads in terms of record and net rating. Makes sense why that matchup was a 2-point matchup. It was also their first matchup of the season between the T-Wolves and Raptors, and their first matchup in, I think, a full season. So they did not play last year. They played
Mm,
the year before.
interesting. I didn't know that.
A cool tidbit. Yeah, they did not play last year. They played the year before. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is a close game. I'm assuming Ant got it done. Randall, if they're both in, the Timberwolves are dangerous. I think
Bones
they have
Highland,
a much better. Yeah, they're
20 off the
very.
bench.
There you go. Bones, busy Bones, getting busy after Mike Conley's gone. So makes sense there. You want to go over Celtics? Yeah, I'll get into that. Was that game close? Because I can just
No.
speed run through them.
No, it's
Okay.
not.
Who- Celtics.
Celtics are up by like 34 or 24, sorry.
Durant must be out. Did Durant sit?
Durant is yeah, it looks like he's out. Oh no.
So I
Katie
was
went.
gonna.
Katie went. He
Okay,
played
you win. Oh,
15
cool.
points.
Okay, so yeah, okay, bet. Then I'll do it. Let's go through it. The Celtics were missing Jason Tatum for this game, Chris Boucher, Sam Hauser. Jalen Brown was listed as a game time decision. I'm assuming he went.
He did
The
not.
Rockets were missing. Oh,
It was the
so they're doing
Derek White
this.
and Peyton Pritchard show.
Wow. Okay, I like you caught me on that one. I was thinking Jalen Brown was going off. That's cool. He did not go.
Mm-mm.
So there you guys go. CJ coming in clutch, but the Rockets were missing Dorian Finney-Smith, Steven Adams, and Fred VanVleet. We've said that a million times. Durant was also listed as a game time decision, but he played, like CJ said. Over the last 10 games, the Rockets were 8-2, which ranked first in the NBA. So the Celtics gave them a good old ass whooping. The Celtics were 7-3 over that same span, which ranked second in the NBA. So they were right behind the Rockets. However, over the last 5 games, Rockets ranked 19th in the NBA in offensive rating, only scoring 110.9 points per 100, which is what they ran into today, not being able to score. The Rockets over their last the Celtics over the last 5 games rank 13th in the NBA in defensive rating, allowing just 109.6 points per 100. So Celtics weren't giving up any points. The Rockets couldn't score. You get a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
You get a blowout. You
Yeah,
get those
Bob.
34-point swings. Celtics probably hit a bunch of threes. How many
Yep.
threes did they hit?
They hit 19.
Yeah.
19 for 51. 37%.
Yeah, they shot like 60 of them
Yeah.
things. Man, that's crazy. Next game, this one was at 7. The Celtics and Rockets game was at 7 as well, guys. But next game, I think, was Pelicans Bucks. The Bucks were missing Giannis, of course, who, CJ, we talked about it for a couple minutes, like
Mm-hmm.
20 minutes ago, but he could be traded, so they can't play him, and he's also hurt, so he can't play. Bobby Portis, and then Gary Harris, Cole Anthony, and Turner were listed as game time decisions for this one for the Bucks side. Hopefully they ended up playing. The Pelicans were only missing DeJounte Murray, who's been out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks ranked 26th in defensive. They ranked 26th in defensive rating over their last 10, allowing 119.8 points per 100. So not good. The Pelicans ranked 18th in the NBA in defensive rating over that same span, allowing just 114.2 points per 100. So a little bit better. Over their last 15 games, the Bucks and the Pelicans are combined 10 of 20. So Milwaukee is 5-10 over the last 15. The Pelicans are 5-10 as well over the last 15. But this is the first matchup between the Bucks and Pelicans this season. Both teams are on the bottom of the barrel as of right now, and they're just trying to get through the year. Pelicans don't want to give their pickup. Obviously, it's going to the Hawks, but it just depends on where it is. So they're playing for something, I guess you could say, but they don't really care how bad they are. Then the Bucks are just praying that they can trade Giannis and get some value. That's why, they're not playing Portis, they're not playing Gary Harris. They don't really have their starters. I think the Pelicans could win this one. I feel like Darren Queen could do well.
Dude,
Are they winning?
I was about to say this game was a banger.
What?
It's 5 seconds left. Milwaukee, it was tied 128. And Milwaukee just hit a 3. Miles Turner hit a 3 to give him a 3-point lead, and now it's a possession
What?
to the Pels. Trey Murphy
Yo.
44.
There you guys go. Trey
Sheesh.
Murphy. We don't talk about much, but he's had a great season. So shout out
Yes.
to him. I love how you brought that up because he gets 40 points for you guys. So that is dope. Shout out Trey Murphy. I know we haven't spoke about you a lot, my guy, but um, let's see. We went through the Thunder Spurs game pretty quickly. That one was at 8:30, and that one started. CJ went through the starting lineup for you guys. This next one's at 9 p.m. Grizzlies versus Kings. The Grizzlies have listed Walter Clayton Jr. recently got traded, Kyle Anderson, and Taylor Hendricks, who also recently got traded, as out. The Kings have listed Keegan Murray as out, and Sabonis is a game time decision. So hopefully, both of those guys have been hurt all this season. Hopefully, Sabonis is in this game. CJ, you can tell the audience if you'd like
Yeah,
in
he
a
is.
sec. He is. He's playing.
He's
Cool.
playing.
Um, yeah, cool. This is actually the third matchup between the Kings and the Grizzlies this season. The Grizzlies are actually 0-2 versus the King this year, so that's not good because the Kings are not very good this year. Over their last 15 games, the Kings ranked 28th in the NBA in defensive rating, allowing 119.2 points per 100. The Grizzlies over that same span ranked 25th in defensive rating, allowing 117.3 points per 100 as well. So both teams giving it up. Memphis losing Jaren Jackson Jr. Right, their defense is going to spiral.
Hmm.
I think we know the Kings defense was not good. Memphis, I had some hope, but now I don't have any. They don't have anybody to man the paint. They just have a bunch of guards and forwards, and I think that's going to bode well for Sabonis, somebody who loves to abuse the paint. So we'll have to see. Over the last five, both Memphis and Sacramento ranked bottom third in the NBA in net rating. So both of these teams have been pretty bad over the last 5, 10, 15 games. If I had to choose a winner here, I would have to go with the Kings. Most likely, I think Sabonis gets it done. They have the Levine and DeRozan, the Bulls ghost roster. CJ, tell me if the Kings are winning.
It's the first quarter, but they are winning. But the Kings are on a 9-game losing streak.
Yeah,
I did not know that. I'm looking at their
it's
schedule.
longest losing streak in the NBA. Yeah,
Tough, tough.
it's
But
mad.
yeah, they're winning right now. But it just started. It's the first quarter right
Yeah,
now.
I know we went through the Cavs and Clippers. I
Hmm.
think Garland's out, Harden's out. It's not the matchup we wanted.
That'd have
Felt
been
like you guys
I was about to
didn't
say
really
that'd be
care.
crazy. Getting
I
checked
know if we
and
got
then
it. I think Kyrie is the only player I saw that got traded and next day just put
played.
on the jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like that's what I like. I like that because it's like whatever, bro. I'm gonna get to it. Like I'm gonna
Right.
figure out my team. CJ McCollum did the same thing. He
Hmm.
ended up having a good day. So I think it depends, man. Like CJ McCollum on Atlanta, people forget that happened, but like he played that first day. Right
Hmm.
after. He ended up, performing well. So we'll have to see, bro. But we got our Mount Rushmores. We're on the last one.
Last
For
one.
people who haven't been tracking it, we've done all the positions, but not point guards. So we're doing point guards today. People don't know what Mount Rushmore is. It's one of the most popular monuments in America. Go look it up. It's got 4 famous presidents on there. So we're choosing 4 of the best players at the position to make it
Hmm.
simple. CJ, how you doing? How you feeling about doing these, man, and wrapping it up? I feel like we got point guards, which is like the cherry on top of the
Yeah.
cake.
Yeah. No. Yeah, dude. These are great. I feel like this is, obviously we like to pay homage to the goats and whatnot, and I feel like majority of the positions are kind of solidified, bro. Like, obviously we know the top ones for everyone, and then kind of fills in from there. I feel like this one was where I really had to not think, right? Because like I know who I like and I know who's impactful on me, but just kind of take into consideration everything. And I have a player on here that some people might not put up here, but I think if you know this era, this generation, you'll probably he'll be in y'all's conversation. But
No
no, I
doubt.
like him,
No
bro. I think
doubt.
this is dope. I feel like it's a cool perspective because I feel like we've paid homage to a lot of like the players that we've never even seen play. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that, but we love hoops. We understand the impact that those players that came before us were. So no, I love these, bro. It's dope. It's a good segment for us to have something at the end of the pod. So we'll think of
That's
something
fine.
else, but it was cool while it lasted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, and we'll do more fun stuff. Like it won't always be this. Like we weren't always doing Mount Rushmores every
Hmm.
single episode, right? But little series throughout the season to keep you guys like, oh, okay, it's not just
Talk. Yeah, yeah,
previews,
yeah.
under Laker analysis, and like, yeah. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. I think this is, we've saved the best for last.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, yeah, definitely. You want to start this one
Um,
off, brother?
yeah, bro. I'll just get into it, man. My number four guy is Isaiah Thomas. Don't I mean Pistons, bad boy Pistons for people who don't know, 80s legend. I'll read off some of the accolades for you guys. Two-time NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP, 12-time NBA All-Star, two-time NBA All-Star Game MVP. He was dribbling on his butt one time with him and Magic. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Three-time All-NBA first team. So he was getting to it. Two-time All-NBA second team, All-NBA rookie first team, member of the 50th and 75th anniversary team. Obviously, he's done it all, Olympics, everything. For me, it's just what he brought to the game and his smile, bro. The way he played the game with joy. I feel like, similar to another guy on this list, always smiling, always trying to get other guys involved. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best passers of his generation and in NBA history. And
Mm-hmm.
he also played. He elevated this team. We talk about a floor raiser like James Harden. I think Isaiah Thomas was that. Obviously playing for the Pistons, one team, he never got to see it anywhere else. But I feel like if he would have went to any other team, they would have got the same result because of the way that he played. He was a pass first guard. He
Mm-hmm.
could score, but if you look at his like career averages, they're not going to wow you. It
Right.
was more
Yeah.
about what he did for the team and his defense as well. I think he led the league in steals a couple times, so
Mm-hmm.
he could guard. So I got to give it to it. Obviously 80s legend, but to me, I love the way that he played the game with so much joy, and I think it was cool for the bad boy Pistons to get a crack at Jordan and that whole, just going back and
That
researching that
Jim.
because obviously we
Mm-hmm.
weren't alive back then, but
Mm-hmm.
just even pulling up the vote, I know you guys can go. I think you can go on NBA and they have vaulted games,
Yeah.
full games, no commercials either.
That.
So if
Yeah.
you
That's
have like the
amazing.
time, yeah, if you have the time, you can go back and
That's
watch the
that's for
full
the
one.
basketball nerds right there, bro. That's like, oh,
Yeah, I
dude,
think
like I
it's
want to
called
watch
like
some hoop.
NBA Vault,
Yep.
right? It's
Yep.
like by NBA, but I know they have a channel where
Yep.
it's like they have full games posted. You can watch them if you want. If you
That's
want.
good. Yeah. If you want. If you want. Uh,
If you want.
for my number four on my Mount Rushmore, I got Russell Westbrook, bro. The Brody,
He's my
NBA,
honorable mention.
NBA MVP, 9-time All NBA or NBA All Star, 2-time NBA All Star Game MVP, 2-time All NBA First Team, 5-time All NBA Second Team, 2-time All NBA Third Team, All Rookie First Team, 2-time NBA Scoring Champ, triple double leader for guards, 207 and counting, and member of the 75th anniversary team. This was the one that I was bringing up. This is the only player on one of my Mount Rushmores that don't have a ring. To put in perspective, um, what he was,
Yeah.
what he's, bro.
Yeah.
I've talked about him so much, like, and I like the older I've gotten, the more that I've kind of realized who I am and kind of like how I like to be. Like, I never realized how much of an impact like Russell Westbrook had on like me as a person. You know what I mean? And I don't even mean to sound like a head ass, but like that is the type of player he was and his energy, like wearing your heart on your sleeves and, the love of the game. You're always hustling, you're giving it your all at all times. That's the type of player that Russ is. And what he was able to do, specifically whenever KD left and that whole, storyline, KD versus Russ, and now I do what I want type shit. So like
Yeah.
that whole
Yeah.
era, bro, like him averaging that triple double, you brought him up, or no, you didn't bring him up. Sorry. But
Yeah. I will soon.
not doing something that, was done 50 years ago, 60 years ago, whatever it was at that time. People didn't think it was going to be possible. I feel like that alone in the modern era, he does it so consistently. He's a guard, best rebounding guard of all time. I think he ranks in all statistical categories for the guard position. I'm pretty sure he's top 5, something like that.
Top 10.
So top 10, yeah, whatever, in steals and all that too. So what he's done for the game, bro. I think it gets overlooked, and I think it's like underappreciated just because the whole narrative that was around whenever he was averaging the triple double. He's a stat patter. His team wasn't winning, and this and that. I think when his record like when he records a triple double is actually like really good. I don't know it off of the top of my head, so don't ask me.
Yeah,
But
like
it's
lost. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the
We
win
don't.
loss record. It was like above average. So it wasn't just empty stats. And I feel like that's the thing with Russ. The thing that you said about Zeke, just having that smile. He was more so if you're on the court and you're going against each other, we're enemies. But if we're on the court and we're thriving and we're dunking and
There's
hitting
a
big
lot of
shots,
joy.
he's gonna just like I said, bro, just the vibe, like the energy. And I think that's when I was a kid, I never really got like and understood why I do that. And I think the older I've gotten, I'm like, dude, it's because of Russ, and I'll gladly admit that. So he has to be on my Mount Rushmore, bro. Just so impactful. He's one of the greatest guards I've ever seen play, and I think a lot of people take that for granted. Like I think it's just, especially the years in LA, I think that kind of really tarnished his legacy in a sense. But the fact that he was able to go to the Clippers and then Denver, and obviously what he's doing in the Kings now, we talked about it before the season started. The fact that he wasn't even on our NBA roster,
He's a street
like
clothes.
it's unbelievable. So just what he's been able
Yeah,
to do for the league, and he brought joy to me as a little kid, and just he brought hope too. We had Russ on our team and Katie left, but it was like, damn, we still got Russell though. Still got Brody. He's gonna lead us, and he was able to, bro. I just think of that we see it all the time. Y'all, if y'all see, follow basketball clips and whatnot, it's when he got that 3-point shot on the Nuggets to kind of seal them being in the playoffs. Like that's always like the main thing. And then when he wore that mask that whole season, I ended up seeing him play that year in Dallas, and he didn't end up getting a triple double that game, so I was a little upset. But just that whole era, bro. Like I said, I never, or I don't take it for granted now. But when I was a little kid, I didn't realize how great of a player he was in the moment. But looking back at it now, it's he has to be on my top, my Mount Rushmore of point guards for sure.
yeah, yeah. There you go, bro. I think both of our four spots are right there. But I'll go on to three, man. For me, it's the Big O. Similar to Russell Westbrook, I think CJ brought it up. He was the dude who did it 50 years prior.
Mm-hmm.
I have him in my number three. So NBA champion, NBA MVP, 12-time NBA All-Star, three-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, nine-time All-NBA first team, Rookie of the Year, six-time NBA assist leader. Obviously led the league in assists a ton, and so did Russ. Member of the 35th, 50th, and 75th anniversary. For me, it was the time period he was doing this because, like CJ said, it's one thing for you to be a modern guard in an era where you have YouTube and think about it. You got YouTube, like you can look up how to do a sham god,
Right.
bro.
You didn't.
Oscar
Yeah.
Robertson just had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that for a second. And I think there's a level of greatness that comes with that. I don't, I know you would speak to it. I think Russ had heights to get to because of players like this. And like
100%.
CJ said, you pay homage to those types of people. Just because I didn't see Big O play, that doesn't mean I don't respect him. And I
Mm-hmm.
know what he's brought to the game. Obviously playing with the Bucks and doing everything there. And he's really just, to me, he's one of those players that like, I don't know, bro. Like, I feel like he gets the love he deserves, but he also doesn't, because I
Yeah.
feel like people are like, well,
Like
it's just Oscar
Russ. Yeah.
Robinson. Like,
Us. Yeah.
yeah, like I like, Russ was dunk. You didn't say it much, but
Yeah.
Russ could dunk on you.
Could dunk on you.
He's
Yeah.
more athletic, like he's more fun. But I think his Big O's game is a little bit more polished. He's a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more smooth, less
Yeah.
aggressive. He played with a lot of pace. The highlights that I've seen, he would like do like little body movements. He was really good with his footwork and get by you. And then like his first step was so quick. A lot of the smaller guards back then just couldn't stick with
Yeah,
that
and he
type of
was a
cat.
big guard too for a time where the
Big
guards
guard.
were, you know what I mean, like
Yeah,
six
bro. So
foot,
like
like.
he was grabbing boards, obviously, and
Hmm.
that's how he got so many triple doubles. But like I think the assists, just what he did for the game at the time period for me is why he's here. Because I think, like you were saying, big guard, we don't really see this skill set ever or in
Mm.
50 years
Yeah,
of NBA basketball. So I think he's got to be there because he's the first one to do it, bro.
hmm
And like for the old heads watching or listening, I got you guys, man. Like I feel like there's obviously I love Russ and honestly my honorable mentions are Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Like I think if I could extend my
Me too.
list.
Well,
Yeah,
I was gonna say
like
mine
if I
is
could,
James Harden and Big O, but
and yeah,
Big O,
okay, and Big O. But like
because y'all see my next one. But
right. But like Big O did that first, so I gotta give credit where credit is due.
I
Russell
agree.
Westbrook, hey, he's not done, so that's a whole other story. Once
Mm,
his career finishes, maybe for me, my opinion might change.
yeah. No, yeah, bro. I kind of spoiled it, but didn't really because I didn't say who my next one is. But my next one as well is Isaiah Thomas. You talked about him. Zeke, two-time champion. Back to back. I think the thing for me was it's kind of a crazy thing, but that team, that bad boys team was the reason why Jordan became so great. So I feel like that is something that kind of gets overlooked in the NBA history, but you and I are basketball nerds, so we pay attention to
Very
stuff
true.
like this. And I think it was a 30 for 30. It was about like the bad boys and bro stuff like that. Like I just get so intrigued with, especially because it's hoops, but just it was a era that we weren't born in. So seeing how it was, and like you said, it's his joy he brought to the game, and how he just made everyone better. And he went to Indiana, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So he what he was able to do there, and then he had his legacy come
Yeah.
into the NBA, and he kind of the Pistons weren't good up to that point either. You know what I mean? So he kind of changed their culture and kind of made them into not the dynasty, right? Because I think dynasty's 3 and 5 or 5 years, whatever. But they ended up getting back to back. So in the era where the Celtics were running stuff, you had Jordan who hadn't got over the hump yet, but it was because
He
of
was
his
there.
team and just everyone else that was there, bro. I think the Lakers, I think they were going against the Lakers, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course,
Of
bro.
course.
But oh my God,
So
those finals battles, bro.
yeah.
Him versus who we shall not
Who
be
we
named
shot
yet.
yeah, yep. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
just
my.
just the like I said, bro, Russ was the only player that on my Mount Rushmore that hadn't got a chip. Zeke, I think alone, he was one of the few players that were a small guard that had led their team to a championship and then did it again. So
Very
for me
true.
personally, as a true point guard, I love Zeke, but I feel like you said, his numbers aren't gonna be crazy. He's not leading, the league or the NBA in steals or assists, but just what he was able to do for a roster and just be a winner. I think that gets overlooked a lot. So you had him at 4, I have him at 3, sir. So I have him a little bit higher, but I had to put him over Brody just off of the chips alone and just his
Very
impact on a
much.
roster. That's the only reason, but personally, I would put Russ higher, but those two chips hold a lot of weight for me. So
It holds a lot of weight for Big O as
yep,
well. So you
100.
gotta, yeah, it's important to factor that in. But I'll get into my number two, and I don't know, CJ, how you feel about you want to do number two, or you want to do one?
I'll do
'Cause we
two.
got
I'll
the
let you.
same list.
I'll let you do one because I think that's your boy. So number two, point guard on my Mount Rushmore, Stephen Curry, Wardell Curry, Chef Curry, 4-time NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP, 2-time NBA MVP. One was unanimous. We can't forget that. 12-time
Yes.
NBA All Star, 2-time NBA All Star Game MVP, 4-time All NBA First Team, 5-time All NBA Second Team, 2-time All NBA Third Team, NBA Rookie First Team, 2-time NBA 3-point contest champion, 2-time NBA scoring champion, and he's also a member of the 75th anniversary team. So, bro,
Yeah.
man, I think this was
What, the greatest shooter ever?
greatest shooter ever. Like that was stamped and sealed whenever he broke that. Was it 3-4 years ago? And he's
Oh
still
my.
going. So that's the crazy thing, bro. I think obviously the game wasn't what it is now, but the game isn't what it was back in the day because of Steph Curry. And I think a lot of people know that, but I don't think they really can grasp what that means. Like the fact that every team is putting up 3-pointers like it's the Golden State Warriors during the 2010s. I think it kind of goes to show the impact that he's had and what he's been able to do. The For me, obviously the dynasty, right? KD, Draymond, Clay, Steph, of course. But for me, when he got that chip in 2022,
It's the Finals MVP. Yeah,
Finals MVP against the young Celtics, that is for me when he became the second greatest point guard of all time. I'm not gonna lie to you, because up to that point, obviously
hands
he was
down.
always going to be in the conversation. Think someone might have been above, but that championship by himself, or not by himself, right? He had a great supporting cast, but he backpacked that team, and he was why they
Yeah, I
were
gotta
so
say,
good. Um,
at the game, yeah,
that
it was
was
by himself.
it was by himself. Yeah, he dropped like 40, right, in a game.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna say, I think Game 5 in Boston.
Boston, weren't they down?
Yes,
Yeah, that's what it
yeah,
was.
he went unconscious from
Yeah, they
three.
just they weren't setting doubles at him, so it's like
Yeah, that's what it was. They weren't. Well, they also weren't picking up when he crossed half court. So
they
that
weren't
was
pressuring the ball.
like
He
he
was
was still shooting from the logo, but they weren't like moving up to
yeah,
meet him there. They
yep.
kept shooting from there.
But that was it, bro. That was the one. There's so many
Yeah.
memories. His when he scored, I think he scored 50 in New York before he really became Steph Curry. That's probably like one of my first memories when he's like shimmying and shit. You know what I mean? Like he just hit like
I know
12
he did that
threes.
to OKC too,
That
boy. You
game
don't want to
winner.
talk about
Oh
it,
yeah,
but
I want to talk about that,
that's the
brother.
one people remember.
Yeah. Nah, it is.
But
I was trying to think back before that, before he was Chef Curry, but no, yeah, just so many memories, bro. But like I said, what really solidified him, obviously breaking the 3-point record, but that was just a matter of time. It's getting that fourth championship on his own, without the super team, quote unquote, that was there before the dynasty, but just him doing that, him getting that Finals MVP, that was all he was missing from his resume. He got that unanimous MVP, like I said. Second greatest point guard I ever. It's probably the greatest point guard I've ever seen, but second
no
greatest point
cap.
guard over.
Skill wise, hands down, number two. He's solidified, stamped in my book. I used to hate on Curry, but he's also my number two guy for all the reasons CJ said. And I think it's like there's only like been a few players who have really changed the game. You know, James Harden, Michael, obviously LeBron. Curry is
Curry's
right there.
right there. Yep.
You know, like he's saying the gravity, like CJ said, to have somebody shoot this well has just never been seen before. And the fact that he did it, now other guys are trying to like a conking up just people who probably shouldn't have had no business being as good as Curry. Just because of what Curry did, they're like, I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like
Yeah.
what do you mean you could do it? Shoot it from the logo and like that's unheard of, bro. So gotta give it to Curry, man. But man, this guy, this is the last and final person on this list. And I feel like this is like a unanimous one. So like one was easy.
Yeah.
And one day I hope it's not as easy, but it's none other than Irving Magic Johnson, man. And it's Showtime Lakers. He is Showtime. To me, he's the happiest basketball player in the world. Always played on a smile with his face, bro. Like more than Z. And yeah, I'll get into his accolades and we'll talk about him in a second. So 5-time NBA champion, 3-time NBA Finals MVP, 3-time NBA MVP, 3-time NBA MVP. There it goes. Not a lot of players have done that. 12-time NBA All-Star, 2-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, 9-time All-NBA first team. He made an All-NBA second team as well. NBA All-Rookie team back when there was only one. So that means something. And then member of the 50th and 75th anniversary team. Also had that finals performance his rookie year playing at center, right? Did so many things. But I think Showtime, he created a whole basketball system,
Yep.
right? The no looks,
Yeah.
the alley oops. Obviously, play with great players. I can't forget about James Worthy, Kareem, guys that helped him get to that level. But Magic elevated those guys too. You want to talk about an ultimate floor raiser? Yeah, that's Magic Johnson, and also a huge guard.
Yep.
Talking about a guy standing at 6'8", 6'9", but he's as fast as you, and you're 6'4". You know,
Mm-hmm.
as athletic, as flashy, the most flashy too. I'd probably say he's the flashiest guy on this list in terms of just being himself and like I don't know on the court, his mannerisms and stuff. He likes to do the flashy passes and the no looks. But for me, it was just creating the basketball system. Obviously, I'm a Pat Riley, Phil Jackson as well. I think, it's sad that he got the AIDS and that whole thing happened, but up until that point, everybody looked at Magic as the GOAT, bro, including Michael.
Yeah.
They all just wanted to knock off Magic. Going back to our small forwards with Larry Bird, like Larry did too.
Mm-hmm.
Competing against him in college and then in the NBA, everybody was chasing Magic Johnson because they wanted to get a piece of that Showtime. And for kids who might be watching this, like again, go back to the NBA vault, go watch
Watch
some
a
of the games.
game
Like
and
I've spent the time to watch the Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson battle and the Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson battle when he's a little older and a little bit more tired. Like you can see if you watch him in late or early-ish 80s, I'll say mid 80s, you can see how he's moving with so much pace and joy. But
mm-hmm.
as he gets older, you can see he starts to slow down and how injuries have taken a toll on him. He's also one of the best post-up guards in NBA history because he had
Mm-hmm.
to learn how to do that. So he'll back you down from full court because that's how he played. Just an ultimate competitor too, bro. Would dive on the floor for basketballs, play with a smile on his face. And yeah, for me, it's just creating that offensive system like Showtime, being able to run it with all those guys, getting guys on the break, playing with. I mean, really, they were the first team to really introduce the fast break and make it cool.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of teams didn't want to get out and run. They didn't have the players to do it. But Magic was like, let's go, 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 go. Even if a team scores, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. So, yeah, I don't even think I could talk about him for 10 minutes. Like, there was, what was it? There's that show on HBO. It's called Winning Time. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Winning Time. They canceled it. If you want to go see like Magic, I think they do a really good job of portraying like his lifestyle and what he was like. So go watch that
Yeah.
because it's dope.
Yeah, no, bro. You said it. You said everything. The
Yeah,
showtime, the being able to come in as a rookie and already make an impact on a roster and be the starting as a center as a rookie and doing all these things, bro, and
yeah,
just seeing how his career got shortened way earlier
yeah.
than what it should have, and he still is the best point guard of all time. I think it kind of speaks for itself, and I think Steph has even said that as well. I think someone asked him that. It's like, oh, who's your are you in the
And
conversation
he's
of
like,
being the greatest? He's like it's only me and Magic. He's like it's everyone
yeah,
else. So
yeah,
I think
yeah.
he
Magic,
knows it too. I think it's those chips too, bro. I mean, I think that's obviously the thing for your position. I mean, it gets to a point where it's just skill level and then your preference, but you got to those 5 championships hold a lot of weight, bro. And the three MVPs, like you said, not a lot of people do that. And the fact that he did both of those and what he was able to do, change the game, like you said, made the fast break like fun, because before it was just kind of just pass it ahead and just get a dunk.
there's this
Nah,
compete, or there was like guys who tried it, but like not. He
not
made that his thing, like
yeah,
the team thing.
and he made like a play style, the play style of being on a
Freestyle,
fast
right?
break. So just change the game, bro. Like you said everything that I already needed to be said. Like just his
Yeah,
impact.
yeah,
He
bro.
on the
He
in
is.
LA. Like, come on, bro.
I have a memory of him. He made a pass on his ass
Mm-hmm.
on the bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's perfectly in Kareem's hands layup. It's just like some of the stuff he would do. It's like you see that now, but little do you guys know for the younger kids, like that happened in the 80s
80s.
too.
Yeah, it
It's just like
wasn't.
you can go to YouTube, bro. Like I'm
Yeah, I
telling you,
think I
bro.
think that's what
So,
it was. Like you said, it's the era, the time he was doing it. It just wasn't. We never
right.
seen shit like that. Like
Never seen it.
we
No.
barely see it now. Like you know what I mean? Like we don't see. I'm gonna be honest. The only person I really see do like full court passes on the dime, Luca,
It's Luca.
literally that and Braun. But like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. It doesn't happen often where you have a big forward slash guard that's able to control the pace of a game, be the main initiator. And he was doing this, like you said, in the 80s, where it was not common to have a 6'9" point guard. You know.
That's what I gotta say.
Yeah, but
So yeah, this was like a banger,
it
bro.
was a
Long
banger.
one. I had
Yeah,
to be NBA trade deadline
trade up.
episode. You guys brought it all, and yeah, I said it earlier, but I'm trade deadline out. I'm going upstairs. We
Yeah,
sleeping.
yes, sir.
You want to leave? How are you doing in Dynasty, right? Because Shay's out, and we're not
Man,
going to see them for Monday.
yeah, I'm probably not gonna do. I'm probably not gonna win, bro, because Shay's out. I have a lot of people that are like DMP or not DMPs, but like day to day. So I'm kind of debating on how I should go about playing doing my players and whatnot. But Klingon is in my lineup now. He's been balling out, and I had not been
Oh,
had him in there. Um, it's tough right now, man. Like I have a good team, but I just don't think I have enough to be able to compete with the best. So it's kind of I'm third in the league, so I think I kind of it's not like I'm doing shitty, but
yeah,
it's like the top two, Tristan and Bobby. It's like their teams are just too good. I don't have enough firepower, so probably gonna lose this one. But we on to the next. I think
yeah.
next week is the last regular season of the or last
Last week
regular
of the
season,
regular season.
last week of the regular season, and then we'll get
Yeah.
these playoffs solidified. So I guess excited for that.
Yeah, Central. Yeah. No. Like I'm there with you. A lot of my guys are out. Um, Holmgren is out.
Yes.
Well, actually, have some guys playing, but I'm erring on the side of caution. I locked in VJ's 52. I locked in Cooper Flag 64-point performance. Those two guys honestly have been my best players,
Mm-hmm.
which they're rookies. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm 6-9. I'm not making any noise. I've said it a few times, but I think on Monday
Shit, you might
we'll
make the
have the
playoffs though,
I might make the damn playoffs.
huh?
Really, and it's my team's not like I can. The thing is, my team has these pop weeks that's kind of screw me. Like I had a
Yeah,
Jared Allen 100-point game. I'm
fucking
like, oh my god,
ridiculous.
on Sunday, and it
Sure,
locked in.
Even
It
Cooper
auto
Flag,
locked it.
that Cooper
Yeah,
Flag
even
week.
Flag.
Yeah, his whole week that he went crazy.
Yeah, he had like 70 points every game. So like, my team's a little bit better than expected, which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. If I get an okay pick, I'm fine. I think I can grab like a Kobe. Like I'm not gonna get a Debansta. I'm not gonna get a Peterson. You guys aren't gonna see that on this YouTube, which sucks. But
Uh,
it's okay. I'm glad I'm not that bad, but I'm having a blast. And I know this has been a long episode, so we'll get you guys out of here. See, do you want to say anything else, brother?
no, sir. Just appreciate y'all for listening and watching, and a lot of
Of
these
course.
trades, bro. It's crazy. So we'll probably Monday we'll definitely have a big episode because I'm expecting Giannis to get traded up to in the next
And
couple
if not,
hours next day.
we still got because like yeah, we'll see. I was gonna say I'm sure probably
Something's
over the
gonna.
next 12 hours.
Mhm.
Because when the Luca trade happened at like 10:30 p.m. Central, because
Yeah.
we had
Well, no,
I'd stayed with
I thought it was like
you.
midnight or like 11 or something
Yeah,
like.
I thought it was later because we got back on.
Yeah,
So
we had
I think
to
it was later.
because we
Had
shot
it
a
earlier.
pod. We were chilling and then had to hop back on. But
Yeah, my light died,
oh,
so
is it?
sorry.
Yeah. Are you good?
I'm
But
viewing.
yeah.
But,
No, if y'all liked and
yeah,
enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time, man. Peace.
peace.
Three man,
Three
three
man.
man, three man.
Yeah, like my light made it right
Yeah,
to the end, boy.
I was like,
Like
oh
that's
shit.